Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. You won't believe the buzz that's been circling the NFL lately. And it all centers around Terry McLaurin, the wide receiver whose candidness has suddenly put the entire league on edge for weeks. Whispers were circulating about the locker room dynamics of the Washington Commanders, but no one dared speak up until now. McLaurin has broken that silence in a way that is shaking up fans and analysts alike. Sources close to the team hint that his recent statements weren't just casual remarks. They were bold, unfiltered truths that have been simmering under the surface, waiting for the right moment to explode. The way he spoke about the team's performance, leadership, and overall strategy left even veteran reporters scrambling for context, as it challenged long-standing assumptions about what makes a team successful in the NFL. Fans are dissecting every word, analyzing tone, and reading between lines. And the reactions range from sheer admiration to shock, with some questioning whether such transparency could be the catalyst for a new era within the organization. The energy surrounding this revelation is palpable, as if the entire league collectively held its breath, wondering how far this honesty might ripple across locker rooms everywhere. McLaurin's statements didn't just ignite conversation. They started debates, and suddenly every analyst feels compelled to weigh in. What's truly fascinating is how McLaurin framed his comments, not as criticism, but as a perspective rooted in experience and deep connection with his teammates. He emphasized aspects of the Commanders' gameplay and team culture that no outsider has ever articulated so clearly, highlighting both strengths and areas for potential growth. The layers of his statements reveal a player who isn't afraid to confront uncomfortable truths, and that courage is resonating with audiences across the nation. In the digital age, social media erupted immediately, with clips of McLaurin speaking being shared millions of times. Dissected frame by frame, pundits debated whether this was an act of rebellion or a sincere attempt to rally the team around a shared vision. Interestingly, the Commanders' locker room hasn't shied away from this scrutiny. Insiders suggest that rather than creating friction, McLaurin's words have sparked conversations that were long overdue, offering the team a chance to unite in a way that hadn't happened before. The narrative being built around him now positions McLaurin not merely as a player, but as a voice of authenticity in a league where image often overshadows substance. Fans, particularly those who follow every nuance of the NFL, feel they are witnessing a rare moment, an athlete speaking with unfiltered honesty, challenging the conventions of what's expected in public statements, and doing so while representing a team he clearly believes in. As the speculation grows, analysts can't stop revisiting every detail McLaurin shared, trying to interpret hidden meanings or signals that might hint at future team strategies or personnel decisions. It's like a puzzle, and every sentence he uttered is being treated as a potential clue. What makes this story irresistible is the contrast between the intensity of his claims and the perceived perception of the Commanders as a regular NFL team. McLaurin boldly stated, in his own way, that the Commanders might not only compete at the highest level, but also redefine expectations across the league, suggesting that other teams should take notice. Rumors now circulate about how rival teams are reacting to this newfound confidence, with some insiders claiming that opposing coaches have been watching game footage differently, wondering if the Commanders have tapped into a mindset previously underestimated. It's this combination of candor, timing, and bold proclamation that makes the story so captivating. McLaurin didn't just speak. He challenged a culture of quiet acceptance and perhaps planted the seeds of a shift that could influence not just his team, but the perception of the entire league. People can't stop talking because it's not every day that an athlete dares to voice what everyone secretly thinks but nobody has the courage to express. The ripple effects go beyond commentary. They extend into the psyche of players, coaches, and fans. Social platforms are ablaze with debates, memes, and fan theories, as if McLaurin's statements have become a cultural event within the sport. Some fans interpret his words as a declaration of dominance, others as a wake-up call for the organization to harness its full potential, and a few even speculate about potential shifts in leadership philosophy. Meanwhile, coaches and teammates are reportedly taking note, having private conversations about what McLaurin revealed publicly. It's rare for one player's voice to generate this much energy, and yet maintain the level of credibility that McLaurin commands. The authenticity he conveys makes people listen in ways they wouldn't normally. leading to a new kind of narrative where fans feel like insiders. Analysts suggest that the ripple effect could even influence upcoming drafts, training strategies, and game day mentality, positioning the Commanders in a way that's both unpredictable and formidable. Conversations that once happened behind closed doors are now being shared in public, creating a new dynamic where transparency itself becomes a tactical advantage. This type of bold, unapologetic communication is almost revolutionary in a league where managing optics often outweighs speaking truth. Every rumor and snippet of information since McLAURIN spoke has been magnified, dissected, and debated, from podcasts to sports shows. No one can escape the gravity of his comments. People are questioning whether this transparency might inspire other players to speak openly about their teams, potentially creating a domino effect that challenges the conventional norms of locker room secrecy. Imagine a league where players feel empowered to voice the truths they see on and off the field. McLAURIN might be leading that charge. Speculation is rampant, not only about the Commanders' chances in future matchups, but also about the wider implications for player empowerment across the NFL and sports culture. Authenticity is gold, and McLaurin's willingness to break through walls of silence is reshaping expectations for athlete commentary. Fans and commentators alike are left pondering the potential outcomes. Will this spark a renaissance for the Commanders? Will other teams struggle to adapt to this new wave of openness? The intrigue is practically irresistible, fueling a conversation that seems endless because it touches on the very core of sports culture, competition, and leadership. It's not just what McLAURIN said, but how he said it that keeps everyone talking. The tone, the conviction, and the timing all contribute to a narrative that feels bigger than a single player or a single team. The Commanders, through his words, are now being framed as a squad that combines raw talent, strategic insight, and a renewed sense of identity. Media coverage reflects a growing fascination, as journalists and analysts alike scramble to place these statements within a historical context, searching for parallels or precedents that might help explain the magnitude of the revelation. The result is a mix of admiration, speculation, and sheer amazement at a player who dares to challenge perceptions while maintaining a deep loyalty to his team. McLaurin's voice has become a symbol of unfiltered truth in an environment where caution usually dominates, and the repercussions are unfolding in real time as fans dissect interviews, rewatch footage, and speculate about what this means for the future. The NFL finds itself at a crossroads. Will the Commanders leverage this moment to become a benchmark of confidence and authenticity? Or will the league continue to struggle with players stepping beyond conventional boundaries? One thing is clear, McLAURIN has sparked a conversation that no one can ignore, and its resonance is only growing stronger with each passing hour. The aftermath of Terry McLaurin's bold declarations continues to send shockwaves through the NFL, with insiders revealing that locker rooms around the league are buzzing with speculation. Teams are reportedly analyzing every single word he spoke, trying to decipher hidden messages about the Commanders' strategies, mindset, and internal culture. This is not just idle chatter. Rival coaches are rumored to be adjusting game plans, questioning how such unfiltered confidence could translate into on-field dominance. Meanwhile, fans are treating every practice report, every lineup announcement, and every injury update as a potential clue in an unfolding narrative that feels part sports story, part thriller. McLaurin's audacity has reignited debates about leadership, courage, and authenticity, leading to a climate where analysts and commentators feel compelled to reassess the Commanders' potential. The league itself seems caught in a peculiar limbo, as McLaurin's remarks challenge long-held beliefs about what it takes to succeed at the highest level. The ripple effect of this single player's candor is reaching far beyond the confines of Washington, prompting discussions that span locker rooms, boardrooms, and living rooms, creating a sense of shared anticipation and excitement unlike anything seen in recent seasons. It's as if McLAURIN has redefined the conversation about team identity and power dynamics in professional football, all with the weight of honesty and conviction. Observers are dissecting the timing of McLaurin's statements with near-obsessive attention, trying to determine whether this was a calculated move or an impulsive outburst born from passion and frustration. Every pause, every choice of word, and every subtle inflection has become a topic of analysis, with media outlets speculating about hidden intentions and potential consequences. Fans have flooded social media with theories, from predicting shifts in team leadership to envisioning a season where the Commanders defy expectations and rewrite the NFL hierarchy. Meanwhile, Insiders suggest that the locker room itself is experiencing a rare moment of collective introspection, with veteran players reportedly engaging in discussions about how McLaurin's perspective can serve as a catalyst for improvement rather than division. Analysts have started to frame the story as more than just a player speaking openly. They argue it could signify a turning point in professional sports communication, where transparency and fearless honesty become tools for empowerment. The intrigue is compounded by the fact that McLaurin is simultaneously a symbol of both loyalty and rebellion, loyal to his team, yet challenging norms that have long governed player expression. Every tweet, podcast, and news segment becomes another piece in a puzzle that seems increasingly complex, capturing the imagination of anyone who follows the NFL closely. This is no ordinary rumor. It is shaping up to be a defining storyline of the season, with McLaurin at the center of a storm built from truth, speculation, and sheer audacity. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The Commanders themselves have reportedly taken note of the media storm, and sources suggest that internal dynamics are shifting in subtle but meaningful ways. Team leaders are said to be using McLaurin's statements as a springboard for discussions about accountability, preparation, and collective ambition. It's as if his words have unlocked conversations that were simmering beneath the surface. Conversations that were previously avoided because they were too uncomfortable or too critical. Coaches are rumored to be reconsidering game plans, focusing not just on tactics, but on cultivating a culture that aligns with the vision McLaurin articulated. Meanwhile, the fanbase is electrified, sharing memes, creating analysis videos, and debating endlessly about the future implications of this new energy within the team. Analysts suggest that the ripple effects could reach into every corner of the organization, from practice drills to draft strategies, making McLaurin's influence feel both immediate and long-term. In essence, what began as a candid remark has evolved into a cultural phenomenon within the team, and by extension, across the league. Every insider report, every rumor about locker room morale, and every speculative discussion serves to amplify the sense that something extraordinary might be unfolding, all originating from a player who simply decided to speak openly and without restraint. The timing of these revelations also adds layers of intrigue, as it coincides with moments in the league where perception and momentum are critical. Teams are reportedly reassessing not only their matchups against the Commanders, but also how their own players might respond to this emerging narrative. Social media metrics indicate that McLaurin's remarks have generated more engagement than any single interview or press conference in recent memory, highlighting the power of authenticity in a world often dominated by rehearsed statements and controlled messaging. Commentators have begun framing him as a voice of a new generation players who are unafraid to express opinions, critique systems, and simultaneously inspire belief in their team. This duality of critique and affirmation is what makes the story so compelling. It positions the Commanders as a team that could leverage transparency as a strategic advantage, transforming what could have been internal tension into motivation and unity. Fans have responded with unparalleled enthusiasm, treating every statement, statistic, and update as part of a living narrative that evolves daily. Even rival fan bases are taking notice, acknowledging that the Commanders are no longer just a team to watch, they are a team to reckon with. And McLaurin's voice is the spark igniting that perception. The ripple effects extend beyond the field, reaching analyst panels, podcasts, and sports news programs, where experts debate the long-term consequences of such openness. Is McLaurin's candor a one-time revelation, or the beginning of a movement where players feel empowered to voice truths without fear of backlash? The speculation is relentless, and the intrigue is magnified by the fact that he framed his statements not as complaints, but as affirmations of belief in the team's potential. This nuanced approach is what keeps the conversation alive. It is not simply drama, but a strategic, layered, and deeply human perspective on leadership, teamwork, and ambition. Analysts note that if the Commanders successfully harness this energy, it could set a precedent across the NFL, influencing not only team culture, but also how players, coaches, and fans perceive authenticity in professional sports. The story has become more than a rumor. It is a living, breathing conversation that evolves with each new insight, each interpretation, and each reaction. McLaurin's voice has transformed into a catalyst, and everyone from journalists to casual fans is eager to see how this dynamic unfolds. With speculation that stretches far beyond immediate results, into the very identity of the franchise. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.